Hi, listeners. Day 6 of the best Christmas pageant ever. So, in chapter 5, we learned that the herdmans had a lot of questions about Jesus and Mary and Joseph and how Jesus's humble beginnings came about. And we realized how the herdmans viewed Herod and they were wanting to rewrite the play, and everyone is waiting to see how they'll mess up. But they started coming to rehearsals, they asked a lot of questions, they were very interested. Even Emma Jean went to the library to see about trying to get a library card, which was unheard of in herdman families. Um, And so she wasn't able to check out a book. However, she did find out about Herod and um, how he passed away. And um, we also found out that Herdmans were starting to put together the wonderful and amazing story of the birth of Jesus and what he means to us as Christians to celebrate the Christmas season. And we also had to laugh at how Imogene was very concerned about having a real baby in the pageant, which normally happened. And she even offered to find one at the A&P grocery store. They chose to do a doll. That was a much better idea. So let's see what happens in chapter 6. And some of you, I know it's really late and um, you're probably asleep waiting for Christmas morning to arrive with all of your wonderful gifts and presents and being with family and friends and eating wonderful meals. It's been a long day for Boila Cat today. Um, I had to bake a pie, which I didn't mind. Just don't like pecan pies very much. And so I did one as a favor and as an offering of love. And I also made my orange marmalade cake that is famous and from the Mitford series. I love that cake. And Annie wanted to make Christmas cookies, so we did that. It's been a long day, plus laundry and delivering gifts and all of these wonderful things that happen, but I am tired. So, without further ado, let's listen to our story. Chapter 6. Our last rehearsal happened to be the night before the potluck supper, and when we got there, the kitchen was full of ladies in aprons, counting out dishes and silverware and making applesauce cake for the dessert. "I'm sorry about this," one of the ladies told Mother, "but with so much to do at this time of year, the committee decided to come in this evening and set up the tables and all. I just hope we won't bother you." "Oh, you won't," Mother said. "We won't be in the kitchen. You won't even know we're here." Mother was wrong. Everybody in that end of town knew we were there before the evening was over. "Now, this is going to be a dress rehearsal," Mother told us, and right away 3 or 4 baby angels began hollering that they forgot their wings. Half the angel choir had forgotten their robes, and Hobby Carmichael said that he didn't have any kind of a costume. "Wear your father's bathrobe," Charlie told him. "That's what I do." "He doesn't have a bathrobe." "What does he hang around the house in?" "His underwear," said. I looked at Alice Winkledon to see if she was going to write that down on her pad of paper, but Alice was standing all by herself in the corner, patting her hair. Her hair was all washed and curled, and her robe was clean and pressed. She had even put Vaseline on her eyelids so she would shine in the candlelight, and everyone would say, "Who is that lovely girl in the angel choir? Why, isn't she Mary?" I guess Alice was afraid to move for fear she might spoil herself. "Don't worry about your wings," Mother said. "The main point of a dress rehearsal isn't the costumes. The main point is to go right straight through without stopping. And that's what we're going to do, just as if we were doing it for the whole congregation. I'm going to sit in the back of the church and be the audience." But it didn't work that way. The baby angels came in at the wrong place, and I had to go back out again, and a whole gang of shepherds didn't come in at all, for fear of Gladys. Imogene couldn't find the baby Jesus doll and wrapped up a great big memorial flower urn in the blanket and then dropped it on Ralph's foot, and half the angel choir sang Away in a Manger while the other half sang Oh Little Town of Bethlehem. So we had to start over a lot. I've got the baby here, Imogene barked at the wise men. Don't touch him. I named him Jesus. No, 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 no. Mother came flying up the aisle. Now, Imogene, you know you're not supposed to say anything. Nobody says anything in our pageant except the angel of the Lord and the choir singing carols. Mary and Joseph and the wise men make a lovely picture for us to look at while we think about Christmas and what it means. I guess Mother had to say things like that, even though everybody knew it was a big lie. The herdmans didn't look like anything out of the Bible, more like trick or treat. Imogene even had on great big gold earrings, and she didn't take them off. Now, Imogene, Mother said, you know Mary didn't wear earrings. I have to wear these, Imogene said. Why is that? I got my ears pierced, and if I don't keep something in them, they'll grow together. Well, they won't grow together in an hour and a half, Mother said. No, but I better leave 'em in. Imogene pulled on her earrings, which made you shudder. It was like looking at the pictures in National Geographic of natives with their ears stretched all the way down to their shoulders. What did the doctor say about leaving something in them? Mother said. What doctor? Well, the one who pierced your ears. Oh, Mother said. What did the doctor say? Sorry, about leaving something in them, Mother said. What doctor? Well, who pierced your ears? Gladys, Imogene said. That really made you shudder. The thought of Gladys Herdman piercing ears? I thought she probably used an ice pick for and for the next 6 months I kept watching Imogene to see if her ears would turn black and fall off. All right, Mother said, but we'll try to find something smaller and more appropriate for you to wear in the pageant. Now, we'll start again and go right straight through, and I think I ought to tell them that what his name is, Imogene said. No. Besides, you remember it wasn't Mary who named the baby. I told you, Ralph whacked Imogene on the back. I named him. Joseph didn't name the baby either, Mother said. God sent an angel to tell Mary what his name should be. Imogene sniffed. I would have named him Bill. Alice Winnikin sucked in her breath. You could hear her scratching down on her pad of paper that Imogene Herdman would have called the baby Bill instead of Jesus. What angel was that? Ralph wanted to know. Was that Gladys? No, Mother said. Gladys is the angel of the Lord who comes to the shepherds with the news. Yeah, Gladys said. Unto you a child is born, she yelled at the shepherds. Unto me? Imogen yelled back at her. Not them, me. I'm the one that had the baby. No, 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 Mother sat down on the front pew. That's just means that Jesus belongs to everybody. Unto all of us a child is born. Now, she sighed, let's start again. And why didn't they let Mary name her own baby? Imogene demanded. What did that angel do? Just walk up and say, name him Jesus? Yes, Mother said, because she was in a hurry to get finished. But Alice Windlekin had opened up her big mouth. I know what the angel said, Alice says. She said, his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. I could have hit her. My God, Imogene said. He'd never get out of the first grade if he had to write all that. There was a big crash at the back of the church, and if somebody dropped all the collection plates. But it wasn't the collection plates, it was Mrs. Hopkins, the minister's wife, dropping a whole tray of silverware. I'm sorry, she said. I was just passing by and thought I'd take a peek. Would you like to sit down and watch the rehearsal? Mother asked. No, Mrs. Hopkins couldn't seem to take her eyes off of Imogene. I'd better go check on the applesauce cake. You didn't have to say that, I told Alice. All that wonderful, everlasting father and all. Why not? Alice said, patting her head. I thought Imogene wanted to know. By the time everyone By that time, everyone was hot and tired, and most of the baby angels had to go to the bathroom. So Mother said she would take a 5-minute recess. And then we'll start over, she said, looking sort of hopeless, and go right straight through without stopping, won't we? Well, we never did go right straight through. The 5-minute recess was a big mistake because it stretched to 15 minutes, and Emma Jean spent the whole time smoking cigars in one of the Johns in the ladies' room. Then Mrs. Homer McCarthy went to the ladies' room and opened the door and smelled something funny and saw some smoke, and she ran right to the church office and called the fire department. We're singing Angels We Have Heard on High when we heard what we heard was the fire engine pulling up on the lawn of the church, and the siren blaring and red lights flashing. The firemen hurried in and made all of us go outside, and they dragged a big hose in the front door and went looking for fire to put out. The street was full of baby angels crying, and the shepherds climbing all over the fire truck. The firemen and all the ladies on the potluck committee and the neighbors who came to see what was going on, and Reverend Hopkins ran over from the parsonage in his pajamas and his woolly bathrobe. Nobody knew what happened, including the herdmans. But I guess they figured that whatever it was, they had done it, so they left. Why in the world would you call the fire department? Mother asked Mrs. McCarthy when she finally heard the whole story. Because the ladies' room was full of thick smoke. It couldn't have been, Mother said. You just got excited. Didn't you know it was cigar smoke? Mrs. McCarthy stared at her. No, I didn't. I don't expect to find cigar smoke in the ladies' room of the church. She whirled around and marched back to the kitchen. By the time the kitchen by that time the kitchen was fuller of smoke than the ladies' room because while everybody was milling around the street, all the applesauce cake burned up. Of course the ladies of the potluck committee were mad about that. Mrs. McCarthy was mad, and Alice said that her mother would be good and mad when she heard about it. Most of the baby angels' mothers were mad because they couldn't figure out what had happened, and somebody said Mrs. Hopkins was mad because Reverend Hopkins was running around the streets in his pajamas. It turned out to be one great big sinful thing Alice kept hoping for. Mrs. Wendlekin read Alice's notes, got on the telephone that very night, and called up everybody she could think of at the Ladies' Aid and the Women's Society. And she called most of the flower committee and all of the Sunday school teachers and Reverend Hopkins. And Reverend Hopkins came to see Mother. I can't make head or tail of it, he said. Some people say they set fire to the ladies' room. Some people said they set fire to the kitchen. One lady told me that Imogene threw a flower pot at Ralph. Mrs. Wendlekin said all they do is talk about sex and underwear. That was Hoppy Carmichael, Mother said, talking about underwear, and they did not set fire to anything. The only fire was in the kitchen where the potluck committee let their applesauce cake burn up. Well, Reverend Hopkins looked unhappy. The whole church is in an uproar. Excuse me. Do you think we should call off the pageant? Certainly not, Mother said. By that time she was mad too. Why, it's going to be the best Christmas pageant we've ever had. Of all the lies she's told so far, that was the biggest, but you had to admire her. It was like General Custer saying, Bring on the Indians. Maybe so, Reverend Hopkins said. I'm just afraid that no one will come to see it. But he was wrong. Everybody came to see what the herdmans would do. Dun, dun, dun. All right, chapter 7, last chapter tomorrow. Let's see how the story ends. I think it's going to have a really wonderful ending. It's probably going to be an ending that you never thought would happen. Sleep tight, dream, and be excited about tomorrow. Have a very Merry Christmas, and we'll talk tomorrow. Good night. Bye.